Highly scrutinized YouTuber Shane Dawson has left behind the most problematic period of his career to now embrace his least interesting era, which for me was fully cemented by several new videos that he recently uploaded across his multiple YouTube platforms, creating a flurry of content that feels so cold and treacherous and sleep-inducing. One single afternoon of binge watching feels physically identical to getting caught in a blizzard and almost dying of exposure. For real, by the time Shane was taste testing his 5th flavored water in his 5th tacky shirt, I was so desperate that I sliced open the lining of my couch and climbed inside of it for warmth, thinking it was the belly of a dead tauntaun from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So prepare to feel like you're freezing to death as we attempt to discuss the least boring topic out of all of the videos Shane has uploaded in the past few weeks, amongst others that tackle the most popular TikTok trend, promote fear-mongering around the newest technologies, and somehow misplace a sense of responsibility for 2 newborn babies onto the audience so that we all have to get stressed and confused about the most basic mysteries of baby raising that Shane and Ryland seem to not understand. I don't know anything about babies. For example, what do you feed them? And do they even need water to survive? I'm just saying, you never see a baby drinking pure water, like out of a cup or a bottle, and nobody ever talks about how they hydrate a baby. Maybe they absorb moisture from the air like a dehumidifier. I don't know, but the point is, I don't have to know, Shane. This is your in vitro fertilization process. Don't ask me. Because unlike Shane, my content strategy here on YouTube doesn't involve implanting eggs and creating new lives, and then making those lives miserable in the pursuit of higher view counts. So call the Babysitters Club and slice open the largest science fiction mammal you can find, then climb in for survival on yet another baby-focused Shane Dawson installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web. That's the hand jive. And we break them down into individual clips so we can look at each section and say shamalama lemon lama dibbity dip da dip dip da dip da dip doo wop ba dooey doo. I'm actually annoyed with myself sometimes, just so you know, if that helps. We look at each individual clip and I tell you why it sucks. Usually. And today, yeah, we're doing that. Because, as usual, Shane Dawson leaves me freezing cold with his YouTube content. I'm not sure what type of person is really still watching this to like earnestly enjoy it and not just as like a little bit of a hate watch, but he gets millions of views. Suffice to say, there are people who still enjoy his content. Maybe they are just nostalgic people or very simple-minded. Who could say? I'm not saying that. The point is, I watched 3 different videos featuring Shane. One was on his main channel, one was on Shane 2, and one was a Ryland's vlog, which Shane, as usual, totally hijacks. I can barely get into the one on his main channel, which was just a conspiracy theory video. The most interesting thing there was that he's clearly trying to replicate the camera setup from his previous conspiracy theory videos of like 2017, 2018, kind of a dark tungsten lit setting where he's close to the camera and saying, "Hey guys, what's up? I look stupid." And he's wearing that shirt. He wore that shirt all the time. I think that's a pretty obvious attempt to reclaim some of the glory of his previous, like, glory days, I guess. Although I will say it did add a slightly better sense of structure to the conspiracy theory video when it would cut back to him in this setting in between the regular vlog style footage that Chris shoots so that he could give basically a talking head that connects different sections. I do feel like that made it a little less arduous to watch, maybe a little more sequential. Oh, and then on Shane 2, he got really into water talk, which if you're not on TikTok, it's the trend where women, I think particularly in like southern states or Oregon, are mixing sugar-free syrups with their water to improve their hydration habits. I don't know how that's different than just buying a sugar-free beverage, which is just water with sugar-free syrup. And Shane, in this video, the most annoying thing was like, he kept changing his clothes for each flavor. It's like, you have 3 items of clothes you feel comfortable wearing. And I need to let you know that we know that those are the same 3 items. Says me, who just wears the same thing but this is merch, okay? It's called branding, you dumb idiot. It's a little obvious that Shane is echoing back to what worked in the past for his previous videos, which can't blame him too much for that. That's sort of what you do on YouTube. You find something that works. I mean, this is my 389th video on Shane Dawson. However, I still think there's a healthy level of diversity in the content that can be achieved. I know I'm gonna try and start doing more video gaming live streams because people seem to enjoy those. And I've recently found a great new way of getting new games to try for a discounted price thanks to the sponsor of today's video, G2A. G2A is a marketplace where you can buy video games, DLCs, software, gift cards, and much more for great prices. Plus, this month, G2A is celebrating diversity. If you check out the landing page they created for this event, you'll find amazing games that keep inclusivity in mind, as well as gift cards that will help you look fresh for Pride season and all summer long. You can find like Amazon gift cards, Spotify, Netflix gift cards, all for lower than their face value, which is basically free money. Games like Roblox or Minecraft, plus Airbnb gift cards so I can save on travel. I love this website. Plus right now there is a special discount code, Diversity15, that you can use to save 15% on the second item in your cart. Click the link in the description below to check out the G2A landing page and find new favorites from games, software, gift cards, and more. Then thank you so much to G2A for sponsoring today's video. Anyway, what also is annoying in this video, he's constantly talking about like, oh my god, these women are gonna die, they're drinking so many chemicals, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how do you think that raspberry sugar-free syrup has less chemicals in it than the sugar-free root beer that you drink 10 to 12 times a day? I'm pretty sure that's worse. He's like, are these women just burping and farting all day? It's like, that water is flat. You're chugging carbonated sugar-free beverages, and I know for a fact you had to reinforce your toilet with steel. So anyway, over on Ryland's vlog channel, we have the least viewed video out of the 3 uploads, and yet it's the most interesting. Because in a video titled The Best Day of Our Lives, they actually go through the process of implanting their fertilized embryos, one from each of them, into their surrogate in order to officially begin the gestation period for their forthcoming babies. And in that video, plus the ones that came out right before it, they also let us know they were planning to have twins, which is something you can try to do with in vitro. You just, implant 2 eggs. And they wanted a boy and a girl, but because of the most viable eggs that ended up resulting, they are now trying for 2 boys. So that's the news that's fit to print. We also get a name reveal. So, well, we heard rumors that one of Shane's best name ideas was Berry, B-E-A-R-Y, as in rower stuffed animal. That's not what we ended up with. Something way normaler came through. So let's get into it. But first, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more Shane Dawson content. It looks like we've got about 7 to 8 more months of some pregnant person carrying their child to really get into all of the shopping trips and room decor and speculation about how these babies will be the focus of their future content, and it's gonna make everything better forever. There's nothing like having a baby to fix your problems. That's an age-old trick. But also, click that subscribe button, that way you never miss new videos from me. I also have merch and a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus episodes, virtual watch parties, and much more. I'm not saying they're not allowed to be excited on the day that their surrogate is being implanted with their embryos, but I am saying I don't like the way they act when they're excited. I'm allowed to say it.
Hello everybody,
Aw, Shane just demonstrated that a person can never be too old to jump for joy, but they can be too unattractive and weird, as it turns out. Shane, sweetie, I have to recommend that you no longer try anything new to make yourself look cute on camera unless you've practiced it in front of a mirror like a few weeks ahead of time. Clearly, this kind of improvisation, along with all other kinds, is not in your wheelhouse. It's giving sewer clown on the day of its birthday party. No, but throughout this video, it's clear that Shane has heard the feedback about upstaging Ryland in his own vlogs by talking too much, which is why he's graciously moved on to upstaging Ryland in his own vlogs by performing creepy little dance moves in the near background.
Today, we had a very exciting meeting with our fertility doctor. We're so close. We're like, so we had our meeting with our doctor today to choose which of our 12 embryos.
Ryland, shut up for a second, because right now, those sperm cells with your faces on them are competing with Shane's arm movements to be the most off-putting thing on screen. Is this like in honor of Pride Month? Shane is trying his hand at voguing back there? If so, it must be the simplified, terrible version that people do when they have no respect for queer history. Shane probably thinks Stonewall refers to the pink brick walls that make up the workroom on RuPaul's Drag Race. Hands by your side, sir. Those dance moves are hate criming the Harlem ballroom scene. This is where Shane and Ryland let us know that they are implanting 2 eggs to try and have twins, although they mention it's also a risk that they end up with quadruplets. It's really fascinating to follow Shane and Ryland along on this journey of basic knowledge.
The surrogate was like, well, there's also the chance that they'll split and you'll have 4 babies. And I was like,
And I was like, splitting? An embryo splitting? And she goes, well, that's what identical twins are.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that that's how that happened.
I feel like Ryland had a few too many high school science teachers who would let him make up for poor test grades by turning in a poster illustrating a lab safety rule for extra credit. I'm not saying Shane and Ryland need to know everything about human reproduction in order to hire a surrogate, but so far it seems like they don't even know enough to avoid having to go to summer school. Ryland's like, the embryo could split, but then I'll have 2 halves of a whole baby? Like that emoji where there's the saluting emoji? Like, baby boy, how did you think identical twins were born? One of the embryos was Mystique from the X-Men? Like, damn, he must have never put one single thought into the science behind the existence of twins in his 30-something years of life. His twin curiosity never extended past fantasizing about getting double-teamed by Fred and George Weasley. And he's their magical pet rat. You can tell they're excited about the prospect of having 2 boys now, because they're like, oh, maybe we can make them the next Dolan twins, only we'll be their managers and ruin their lives even faster. Anyway, Shane and Ryland are being responsible enough parents, it seems like, preparing the house, getting baby supplies, figuring out where the nursery is going to be. But once again, I'm worried that Shane is going to melt down if these babies are effortlessly more cute than he is.
and I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but let me take you through my journey.
Uh-oh, this reminds me of when my roommate at the psychiatric hospital wanted to explain his treasure map that he drew on our wall with his feces. Is it just me, or does anyone else out there also feel like they can see right through people when they are acting in a way that they clearly think is being perceived as adorable? Let me know in the comments below, it's a pet peeve. And so far in this video, Shane seems really high on the quirky boy pick-me pills that he's been abusing for years. Oh, has he been crushing them up and taking them rectally? Because that's how we got present-day Shia LaBeouf. Shane is now showing us all of the signs throughout the house that he believes reinforce his decision to go for twins. I'm like, oh, cool, just what we need from new parents. Believing in magic. They do admit that they let go of their desire to plan this in vitro fertilization based on what astrological sign they wanted the baby to be. It's like, wow, what kind of Southern California heads are you trying to be right now? But they've moved on from that, probably because you're asking for 9 months of a person's life and taking up rent in their uterus, so maybe just let them do it when it happens. You can tell that shopping for these babies is going to be a major part of their content going forward because, as you probably know, Shane really cares a lot about high-end products and using them to remind us how rich he is due to this bullshit type of video.
He had gotten a Ralph Lauren little onesie, and oh, I'm so obsessed with the baby shoes. Burberry baby shoes.
Damn, I never thought about how some people go directly from being wrapped in afterbirth to being wrapped in fancy boy rich people clothes. I'm a fully grown adult, but knowing that this is how those babies will be dressed, even I'm sort of planning to bully them on a playground one day. Shane, Ryland, stop shopping for your babies like you want them to get their asses kicked by the other newborns before even leaving the postnatal unit. Imagine what a baby brawl would look like. You would have to use a leaf blower to separate everybody. Not only does this suck because it's a waste of money to spend $200 on a pair of shoes that your infant will outgrow in a matter of months, but also because now I know that it would only take a pair of Burberry booties for me to think about how easy it would be to rob a couple of babies, especially if it's when Shane leaves them unattended in a park while he's telling a group of toddlers a joke about his penis. As I mentioned, we now know that Shane and Ryland are planning to go for 2 twin boys so that each parent can have fertilized one of their embryos. So with that, we finally get the big name reveal, which has been teased out for several weeks now. Was it worth the wait? You'll have to tell me.
One of the babies is Jet, short for Jetson. And out of nowhere, I was like, oh my God, Max. So Max and Jetson.
Okay. Is Shane Dawson naming his kids after Mac from the Jetsons? I guess there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I don't really see the relation between Shane and Rosie the maid's robot boyfriend. I mean, Mac was usually shown to be awkward, way past his prime, not very good at his job, cartoonishly boxy. Actually, you know what? The relation starts to come into focus the more I talk through it. Max and Jet are not the most outlandish baby names we've heard in pop culture. Plus, Shane and Ryland are very wealthy Angelinos, so it kind of makes sense that their babies' names would sound like a type of electric scooter. But they're also meaningful too. According to babynames.com, Max is short for Maximilian, which is based on a German variation of the Latin word Maximus, meaning best, the greatest. And then Jetson, according to Urban Dictionary, refers to, quote, the sex move for going down on a girl where you imitate the Jetsons' mobile by blowing a raspberry into her snatch. And then they give the example, the only way she could was with a good long Jetson. Oh, that would be a fun nickname for Shane's kid, Good Long Jetson. Assuming he's born with a pure heart and visibly elongated cone head. Oh, then they show us some monogrammed towels that they got for Jetson and Max. Shane lets us know that the children will be named Jet, Ryland, Yaw. Yaw is Shane's real last name. He changed it to Dawson for YouTube. I heard that it's because of Dawson's Creek. It's like, oh yeah, I really see the connection. You look just like that teenage heartthrob. I thought I had to throw up, but it was just a burp, but I still want to throw up a little bit. It seems like Shane is really having trouble not buying stuff for the forthcoming babies. He even compares it to how whenever he got a new puppy, he would go crazy buying dog supplies. But hey, I guess that pairs perfectly with his other signature personality trait of trying too hard to be funny and getting rewarded for it.
Equipment must-haves, the furniture must-haves, the clothing must-haves, the equipment nice to have, and then my list in my head of everything we need.
Oof, Ryland's editor seems to have forgot to edit out that uncomfortable moment after Shane will suddenly scream in place of a punchline. Look at him as he has to sit there with the embarrassment of not getting a laugh even from his own husband, while his pointless shriek reverberates off the poorly decorated kitchen walls. Also, is Shane trying to bring back frosted lipstick, or has he been stress eating that stockpiled diaper cream that they ordered for little Max in Jetstream, Baby Jitney, Jimmy Neutron's Jetpack, whatever the name is? Shane brings us into his former beauty room because he's done being into makeup now. He got so good at it that he could finally retire. And this is now the nursery. I didn't realize how much Shane loved like the vintage Winnie the Pooh motif, but he does the impression. I'm gonna do my impression of Winnie the Pooh. Oh bother, F me in the Pooh. Why did he say it? Now Shane and Ryland sort of talk us through the in vitro fertilization process where they got to finally meet the surrogate mother. They give lots of detail about her, including the age of her existing daughter that she has custody of, certain likes and dislikes of hers. They went out to dinner, they stayed at a hotel, and I'm just like, I already feel like I have enough info to steal all of your identities just from this. And then Shane will go on to be like, we're not gonna show our babies' faces in the videos, except maybe I'll change my mind on that. It's like, I think maybe you will too, based on how much you love a reveal. I'm revealing my baby's face. Honestly, you could reveal your baby's face when it's a newborn, and it's less problematic than revealing a baby's face like a couple years into its life. Then people can actually like identify it, and it doesn't just look like a cheesy newborn baby with that weird peely skin they have. I mean, all babies have that, but for some reason, I feel like Shane's will have even peelier skin. They'll be molting like a goddamn garter snake. I'm just kidding. Children are innocent. These poor kids, that's the whole thing. They're very innocent, but they're being born into a world where they are hyped up before they even have fingernails. And it's just obvious that this is all Ryland's channel is going to be about from now on. Shane does seem to like really be committing his brand on the Shane and Shane 2 channels to conspiracy theories or trending TikTok topics. He even refers to his podcast as a conspiracy theory podcast. It's like, oh, so it is only about conspiracy theories, and it's not just a coincidence that the first 52 episodes have had that in the title. Fabulous. useless. You are like an unending episode of unsolved mysteries that they can't air anymore because it caused seizures. But in the interest of caring about the health of random babies, I am glad to know that the surrogate's implantation process went well. This was back like mid-April, so the person carrying the babies has been gestating for about 2 months now, which is good. Assuming we would know if anything changed with their birth plan, I guess it can be assumed that things are going well 2 months in. Shane also says like they couldn't really reveal a lot about these twins or what sex the babies were going to have when it was too early because they hadn't told family yet and all, the complications that could arise. And I'm like, well, you're still telling us about them when you're in the first trimester, which is often what people try to avoid, but I guess you can't help but post a sentimental Instagram story thanking your fans for supporting this baby-making venture.
Yeah, and that was the best moment of my life, I would say, because it was like, I can't explain it.
Can't explain it? Mama, I can't even read it. Why would you use white text against a shade of beige more pale and dingy than the parts of my feet that are falling off? It's gotten really bad, but I refuse to cut off the Versace gladiator sandals that I stole off a wealthy baby at Whole Foods. I may have thought about the robbing babies idea a few weeks ago. Honestly though, what is Shane saying in this goddamn Instagram story? Thank you for all the sweat massages and wet kisses today? That can't be right. He's already so prone to chafing. What kind of disappearing ink, mystery message, murder confession color scheme was this post designed to be perceived by a mantis shrimp? They can see a larger spectrum of color than any other animal on the planet. Also, I can't figure out how to cancel my subscription to Zoo Books, but it is teaching me a lot about different shrimp types, while also pushing me to the verge of bankruptcy. Hence, my new hobby, mugging fancy fashion babies. It's all part of the ecosystem, a word I learned in Zoo Books. Shane and Ryland show us their eggs. Shane and Ryland show us their eggs. Shane wore shorts, he showed us his legs. All legs are beautiful. Even the amputated ones that are freeze-dried in evidence lockers. I love those ones most of all. Anyway, this is coming to the close of our baby update from Shane and Ryland, but we know a few things for sure. These babies are gonna have weird names, full-time jobs from day one, and parents who seem a little clueless.
Wow, what are we gonna do? We're literally gonna have babies. What are we gonna do?
Well, the first thing you gotta do is broadcast their full legal names to an audience of millions, shop compulsively for luxury items that will help establish them as symbols of your status, and plan out all of the future content that will make their babyhoods the sole focus of your brand and main source of your income. That's chapters 1 through 3 of the book What to Expect When You're Expecting, the maladjusted adult edition. Oh, you mean what to do with them after they're born? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they come without teeth, so that's a little creepy, not great on camera. I would recommend getting them in for veneers within the first few days of life. Until then, I guess just stick to canned wet food. I'm pretty sure the Rachel Ray brand Nutrish is a good one, and it's almost always on sale at Target. Come on, Shane, you should know better than to ask for parenting advice in a YouTube video, because it won't take long for some sarcastic queen to suggest you put those babies in a wicker basket and float them down the Nile River to more capable parents. Actually, hold on. I should post that comment while the wording is still fresh and scathing. Oh, sorry for the confusion. I'm some sarcastic queen. It's a cute nickname I overheard the mechanics use for me when I went in for an oil change. I honestly don't know what they were referring to, but it's like I told them when they suggested I get new brake pads. Oh, I really care about the opinion of someone who looks underneath cars all day. Sounds so important. And that's all she wrote for Shane's pre-implantation baby journey. And now, baby, we're fully in vitro. Fertilize me with all of that fresh content about repainting a room and buying more footy pajamas. I can't wait. I want to go out on a limb and say this is not going to be an interesting turn for Shane or Ryland's brand. I mean, people might be passingly curious, and there's a lot of rhetoric going on about how Shane may or may not make a great parent. That remains to be seen, but assuming they, like most rich people, are able to hire all of the help and experts and nannies and nurses they need to raise a child with basically zero effort, it's gonna get really boring just watching them talk about these babies that they may or may not show on camera. Like, what the f is that gonna look like? Anyway, family channels are lame and boring to pretty much anyone who's not a child or a parent, I guess, of young children. I don't know what the demographic is. Oh, also child predators, so that's, you know, right up Shane's alley. Speaking of wheelhouses, that's the wheelhouse you never want to get locked in after dark. So I just don't foresee this being really something that is gonna be fun to watch going forward, which really rounds out the portfolio from the Shane, Dawson, Ryland, Yaw family, where nothing has been fun to watch, or ever really was. We were just younger and stupider back then. So let me know what you think of this baby birthing plan of content creation in the comments below. Also, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up to ensure that I implant your uterus with more Shane Dawson embryos when the next time he posts. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I'm fisting that egg inside of you. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon available where you can access exclusive watch parties, bonus episodes. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for constricting the blood flow to my feet with some designer baby shoes today. I will see you next time.